So the main reason why people don't like fake formats is because most people have to fully invest within the actual format. The number one thing that people are doing in Yu-Gi-Oh is buying physical cards to play at locals or regionals or like maybe YCSs, which is like, okay, that's pretty fair. What happens is when you bring up non-official formats or even like unsupported formats, unless these formats have a very, very, very well-supported cult-like following. The best example I can give is like Edison and to a lesser extent like GOAT format. These formats just will not take off. These formats will not take off, or people will be like, but why would I play this? Why should I invest in this? Or why should I like do XYZ? That's why like not a lot of cube formats exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like cube formats in Magic the Gathering, draft formats, sealed formats, whatever. These are very, very popular formats. But people don't want to invest in alt formats for Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because like, why would I invest in that when I could just invest in the actual game that 90% of players are playing? In other words, the community is fucking lame. Yeah, true. And also, like, let's say you do want to host an alt format. Let's say like you do want to host an alternate format night. You also have to convince every single regular locals attendee, we're going to use up one of your weekly slots that most of you guys use as like your day off. And we're going to be playing Edison, which is a format that like half of you guys are just completely unfamiliar with and will probably do like dog shit at just because it's a completely different format. Like even if it is a semi-real format like Edison or GOAT, like people are just gonna be like, I don't know how to play this format, I don't have the cards for it, and I don't want to have to spend like $60 to $100 to buy like a new deck. And even though that is like extremely cheap by Yu-Gi-Oh standards, people just don't want to have to make that investment both in money and time and waiting. Do you think Yu-Gi-Oh not having a new anime is hurting the cards coming out? I feel like a new show could help, but please no new summoning mechanic. The problem is that every time we've had a new show, it's either been a new game mode or it's been a new summoning mechanic. Yu-Gi-Oh and GX. GX is the only exception actually. Then it's 5Ds with Synchros, then it's Zexal with XEs, then it's Arc VE, Pendulums, then it's Brains, Link, then it's Sevens, which is Rush Duels. And let's be fucking real, even though Rush Duels is cool, like on paper, it seems so cool. Who the fuck is gonna play Rush Duels? Are you telling me we're gonna have like a YCS Rush Duel? The whole plot of 7/Rush Duels is that nobody wants to fucking play a fake format, you know what I mean? Like the main issue with Yu-Gi-Oh ended up just being, oh hey, this format's just not really real. The whole issue with like this whole discussion of people being burnt out of advanced, of the current format, is that there's literally nothing else to play. But then when you show people the other stuff that could technically be played, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Commander, like Deckmasters, Edison format, most people either don't have the time or are not willing to spend the time and money to basically have to learn an entirely new like half card game, you know what I mean? Wasn't the plot that the MC forces everyone to play his game because no one wanted to? Literally, the only duel I watched was where like at their duel academy, the main character forces like the student council president to play Rush Duels, and he's like, this is some fraudulent ass shit, dude. Like, why are we wasting our time on this when we could be playing Master Duels? The Yuya is like, I'll show you, bitch, that this could be a respected format. Rush Duel is vomit hands. Rush Duel is like, you are just gonna play out your entire fucking hand and just pray to God it gets there. I wouldn't call it like a skillless format, but it's like, you know when people kind of like memed about like, oh, Pendulum era, like when like shitters would be like, oh, Pendulum era is just like you set your scales and then you pen summon 27. Like, Rush Duels is literally that. As like fucked up as it is to say, I'd seriously love to try Yu-Gi-Oh! Commander. I'm a huge player of MTG Commander. Okay, so here's a little issue. The problem with Deckmasters is that me and my friend Trish, is that we found out very, very early on it was so easy to break this format. It wasn't even funny. The main thing that breaks Deckmasters is this. If a Deckmaster has a card effect that applies while the monster is face up on the field, that effect applies as if the Deckmaster is face up on the field. So, what is a monster you guys can think of with a continuous effect that might just make this format a living hell? I'll give you a hint. It starts in the extra deck, and that's this motherfucker right here. Thousand Eyes Restrict. Literally, you just have this guy as your Deckmaster, and you just play like a 60 card Runic Burn deck, or like a mill out deck with like triple Dark Bribe, triple whatever. It is literally like lights out. Your opponent can't ever attack. The fact that this card just says your opponent cannot attack you is basically all you ever need to know. And it just doesn't matter even if your opponent's making like a 12 negate board, because you're gonna have 5 cards set and like 8 cards in hand when you draw for turn. Guess what? That's 13 cards. Especially, and if you're playing board breakers in your main deck, like Dark Ruler or Evenly Matched or Droplet, and you're just like slowly milling your opponent out, like, congratulations, bro. Go the fuck home. That's fucking horrible, Lamau. Dude, I know we figured this out like minute 2 of like building Deckmasters. We were thinking like super cool effects. Like, yeah, we could play like Raptinus as our Deckmaster. And we could play like Geminis, and like I was like, oh, that's like super duper cool. And we were like, yeah, we could do like super ancient deep sea King Coelacanth plays. Now, that'll be cool. That's fun. And then we just realized, who the fuck cares? We could just play a fucking dumbass burn strat and just like win 99% of our matchups. Or if you want to just fucking be cheesy, you could play like Light and Darkness Dragon. Like, cool, man. Awesome. Peak gameplay. We got Mystic Mine at home. Like, this is just like the very surface level of why certain formats in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just aren't really given a second thought. You look at Deckmasters, people are playing like the only people who are playing it is like fucking 2 Timmys and like Joe from the bar, and like 2 of them are playing like Light and Darkness Dragon, one of them is playing like a Mono Iwado. You want to talk about GOAT format? Have you heard of like Royal Magical Library? FTK is like one of the best decks in the format, if not the best deck, and it's like only not played because people don't want to play a fucking FTK deck. I remember at like an Edison Locals not too long ago, my friend Manny showed up and like everyone's like, yeah, I'm gonna play like Machina, and like people were like, oh, I'm gonna play like Plant Turbo. And like some people were like, yeah, well, you know, I'm gonna play Black Wings because I'm boring. And then Manny showed up with like the Blue Eyes Deep Draw Exodia Royal Magical Library and won every single match until the last one, in which he opened 4 pieces of Exodia 2 games in a row. And then he's like, well, I bricked, and then he just died. I'm like, what's the fucking point of this shit, dude? Rush Duel was the closest I've seen to a hard reset of the game, and most people won't even try it because it isn't promoted properly. It's not that it isn't promoted properly, it's that no one cares about it. And you could argue that that's because it's not promoted properly, but no one cares about it because it's not advanced. And the problem is, advanced fucking sucks. Like, let's be fucking real with ourselves, chat. Snake Eye is very, 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 very unlikely to get banned next format. It might get hit a little bit. It might like lose Appaloosa. But like Snake Eye, we're probably gonna have 3 to 4 more months of just like Snake Eye format. At least like a slightly neutered version of it. And like, let's be real. Even if Snake Eye gets hit, do you guys want to play in Tenpai format? Is that what you guys want to be doing? Like, wow, I can't wait to go to locals. 4 Tenpai players in a row and you get OTK'd like 5 minutes. Like, wow, awesome. We've been chaining together mid to bad formats since POT. Power of the Elements was like this really interesting format because it was one of the hard resets that Konami implemented. And they actually did give us like a bunch of decks that were very interesting. And they were powerful in their own right. And it did take like a lot of discovery and player skill for people to figure out that Gentleman was the best deck after like 5 minutes, and people were still like trying to figure out like Runic Sprite and stuff like that. And then just like ever since Tier 0 format, everything has just like gone to the shitter. We had like Tier 0 format with like the Ishizus. Then we had like Cash Tira format. I can't believe how quickly all of us just collectively wiped from our minds that Cash Tira format was actually a Tier 0 format. Like, do you guys remember that shit when like every Cash Tira card was like at 3? I mean, it still is, but you know, every single fucking person and their moms was making like a Rise Heart equipped with like fusions and like Link monsters off of Prosperity, because that's just how it fucking worked for like no goddamn reason. It was actually like demented. And then we got like super heavy format as soon as like Wakaushi came out, and then that format just like immediately passed because Wakaushi got, because like Scarecrow got banned like a week later. It was funny. And then it was just like, we had like this one period of like this really nice format where like Monadium was playable and Labyrinth was playable and like whatever was playable. And then we got Snake Eye. And then we just got like the Diabellstar Rescue Ace Fire format. And as soon as like Age of Overlord came out, it's just been like the steepest decline ever. Like, here's what like I was going for a little bit, and as soon as Power of the Elements, straight to the fucking shitter. It was actually insane. I despise Rescue Ace. Rescue Ace was like so easy to deal with until they got Princess Diabellstar. Like, Diabellstar was one thing, like it was like annoying, sure. But as soon as they got Princess, and like, well, to be fair, like they got like 500 other cards. They got like Preventer, and they got like Airlifter Limited, which is like, sure, man, why is that card still limited? Oh my god, as well as the fact that you can make SP as like your 4th summon and rescue ace, and then you could summon Turbulence, and it's just like, it didn't even matter if you Nibiru'd or Impermed them, because they would just like SP dodge it, and then like you just lost. It was like the most fucking stupid shit of all time. Hot take, Dune format to Phantom Nightmare form was cool. I would agree with you if like Unchained didn't exist. Unchained was very much not that egregious. Like relative to like Snake Eye now, like what the fuck does Unchained do? But I remember for like so long, everyone was like, we have to ban like Caesar. They're like, let's be fucking real. This card is Solemn Warning. Why is Solemn Warning legal? Caesar and Shavara were like the most unfun cards to deal with. Normal summon Tour Guide with Shavara in hand was like the fucking FTK. You would like imperm Tour Guide and they'd be like, oh, haha, Shavara chain, and then you just wanted to like kill yourself. It was horrid. Unchained only felt really bad to play against when we got SP. Like fucking Blue Dog Link into SP was disgusting. As well as the fact that like the deck had infinite floating. Like, Unchained was just Snake Eye before we got Snake Eye. I'll just fucking say that right now. The bad thing is you probably need like a 70 card ban list to make the format accessible again, and you still have degen shit. That's just like the reality of Yu-Gi-Oh right now. Unfortunately, like, Advanced is just like in a poo-poo state, just because like 500 decks are like absolutely pushed to the gills. And the reality is like, a lot of people are very, very frustrated about it, and they're leaving the game en masse to play like Lurkana or Magic the Gathering, because like, let's be real, like all of us play Advanced, and for those of us who don't play Advanced, like we're having fun playing Edison, you know what I mean? But anyways, that's just like my 2 thoughts about the format. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section down below, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.